I'm going to show you this tool and just very quickly. So what we see here that you get as part of the EACOE methodology is, again, a fully integrated tool to help you out here. And you see some red markings in green, and the red markings essentially show you the instructions. And as you see here, you see the word tutorial, which will walk through your activities. And of course, beginning a new project, essentially make sure that everything is cleaned out. You can start all over again. And one of the things about enterprise architecture is there are 6 different dimensions that can be optimized, and you can choose the direction that's there. If I was doing true enterprise architecture for the business, I would essentially make sure that I was enabling my business goals as quickly as possible. Not optimizing IT, for example, but optimizing my business goals. If I want to optimize my business processes in a system, that's a different dimension that's out there. And each one of these artifacts that we're talking about, the what, how, where's, who, and why, are completely essentially put in this particular tool. And you can see the colorations. This is some of the embellishments. We've got about 60,000 lines of code that we have underneath Excel. We don't touch Excel. We put them underneath Excel to essentially make the thing look pretty and, of course, make it easier for people to understand. And, of course, the other thing we have is the concepts of relate. So what would be essentially the relationship between the goals that we're trying to develop and the processes? And if you're saying, geez, I wonder if there is a relationship between the goal of transporting possessions and the process of essentially move around, I can press on that box and I can see essentially the architectural elements that are there so I can understand what is going on. That's the concept of full integration in the methodology, in the process, in the activities that we essentially have that's out there. And these are all the different relationship models that we have. And then we have essentially the activities about building essentially the initiatives, the move ahead activities. And some people call initiatives capabilities. Some people call them focus areas. Some people call them projects. Some people call them programs. We use the phrase initiatives. Of course, there isn't a consistent language. And to do this, we have a series of mathematical sciences that we've used to give us a head start. We don't put our brain in neutral, but because the enterprise understanding is so large, we need a little bit of aid to do that. And the aid is called affinity analysis. And in other webinars that we've done, we've gone into detail about what the mathematics are out there is. And basically, the end product here is a series of move ahead initiatives that we have essentially prioritized. And when we see this, we can see the prioritization that's there. Now, of course, this is all raw data that you're seeing here that business people can work with, business people can understand, of course, or technologists can take a look at this, in other words, the architect, and keep enhancing those things, as you go along. So these tools are made for the practitioner, and that's why we call our whole practice for practitioners by practitioners. That's the whole emphasis, that we have here. So again, this is part of not our education alone, but the mechanization to get as much friction out as possible. The end objective is to have a glass of wine. How do I make this as easy as possible to get there? The end objective of enterprise architecture is a series of initiatives to make the job essentially of figuring out how to move the enterprise from its as-is state to its desired state as quickly, effectively, and as efficiently, as possible is what we're chatting about.